So what you've just seen is a portal that Q and I worked on together. I'll link Q in the description. And it was based on Fyro's Ironless portal. So I'll link Fyro too in the description. Now you might be wondering why I'm in a super flat world with lava. And that's because I want to explain how lava flow mechanics work, because they're quite important to one part of the portal. So lava only ever flows when it is updated by a block. And that happens when a block changes. So if I was to break this grass block here, where this area is or where the grass block was, all of the blocks adjacent to it, so all of the blocks around it, as well as the blocks up above and below are updated. So what this means for lava is when lava is updated, it flows 1.5 seconds after the first update. And any updates that happen after the initial updates, or between the initial updates and after like the 5 seconds, don't mean anything. Just the first block update matters. So a few examples of block updates are placing a block, breaking a block, when lava turns into obsidian, or when lava turns into air, like when you use a bucket, or when air turns into lava when lava flows. So there's two kind of situations which are relevant to the portal. The first is when source blocks or lava blocks which are attached to other lava blocks are updated. And when that happens, they just flow after 1.5 seconds after the first update. So you can see that seemed a bit fast, but it was because when I placed a block it updated lava, and the breaking it didn't update it at all. So it just went off the first update 1.5 seconds later and it flowed. But for lava, which is not a source block and is not attached to any lava, when it tries to flow, it just disappears. See here. So those are like the two like applicable things for the portal. Another thing to note is that lava updates itself when it's placed, because otherwise it couldn't flow. So that applies to both the source block and also every non-source block. They all update themselves, because otherwise it wouldn't be able to flow. Okay, so I'm going to try to explain in maybe an easier setting how getting rid of the lava works. So basically in the portal we place a wood slab here to update this block here, and this is the block which we're trying to get rid of, by the way. This is the block which turns into cobblestone in the other portals. So we place a wood slab here to update this block first, then afterwards we place a gravel or sand here to make sure that this doesn't have any blocks to connect to, and so this will flow first and this will flow afterwards. In the actual portal we'll actually have two lava blocks here, but because it's easier to place sand, I'll just keep it just like this in a line. So basically in a portal, just also actually I have a little hole here just to simulate having source blocks underneath, because the non-source block will just flow down if it can. So in the portal we just place a wood slab and then place a gravel, and this disappears because it's got nothing attached to it, and this just ends up flowing down. So now we're in a lava pool. I can kind of show you what I just showed you, but in the actual setting. So we just place a slab here. The only extra thing is like we place a door here so that this non-source block can't connect. So we place a door and we place a gravel here, and you have like a 1.5 second time frame to do this before this flows again. So I'll do it somewhat slow so that you can hopefully see a bit better. And that's basically it. One thing you have to watch out for is if this non-source block, or if this has been flowed into recently, where this lava just was, that would have updated itself, and so the timing might be a bit off from what you're used to. So because as I said, both source and non-source blocks update themselves when they flow. So if this flows and then you place this after, you actually have less time than 1.5 seconds that you would usually have when you place this. So it's just something to keep in mind. It's quite hard to explain, but just if you spend more time and get used to the mechanics, then you'll understand it a lot better. Another thing to say is that there is an alternative to this, and that is using buttons. The problem with buttons is that you have to, well, it's quite a lot harder to pull off, because once you break this magma block, you have to place the button and the gravel pretty close to each other, so it's not like super hard to do, but it's quite a lot harder than just placing the gravel. So that's something to keep in mind, is if you don't want to do this, then you can do that. But once you're at this point, you just place wood here, magma block here. You can place the door beforehand, doesn't matter if you place it before or after, and then you just break this and place a gravity block here, and that gets rid of that lava block, as well as allowing this to not turn into obsidian. And from here it's pretty straightforward. You just break these blocks, block it off. I block it off with a crafting table because sometimes you won't have enough slabs otherwise. If you have planks extra, then you're probably okay, but it's kind of like a free block that you always have that you can use, so I'd recommend using it. So you just block off the water with that, get rid of the water. And you should have not always, you should have doors though, most of the time, after building the portal. Sometimes both doors burn in the lava when you break these, so if that happens, you can just use your remaining slabs to do this. But the reason using doors is better is because you'll always have 2 slabs left, and you can just break these and place the slabs that I showed. And since there's more lava here, those 2 lava which flowed into where the gravity of the sand was, they can actually light the portal. So it's quite important. It's not super important, but it does help quite a lot, and it can take quite a bit of time off average if you're able to do that. So if you have doors or if you have extra blocks, I would recommend doing that. And now for the last part, you would have seen that I jumped up into the door here, and that is just to get the crafting table back. The reason I jumped up here is because there's a very small chance that the crafting table can go back up into a block here. So the crafting table can sometimes jump up into this block, and you cannot reach it if you're standing in a portal. You have to go up to here. So that's why I stood up here in the door, is because there's a very small chance the crafting table goes up into this block, under this wood slab here. You can just walk up and grab it and walk back into the portal again. If you don't have a door, then obviously you can't jump up into here. You'd have slabs here instead. And what I'd recommend for here is that you would place a block as soon as you break the crafting table, so that it can actually go back up into that block. So I can just show that real quick. You look at the corner between the bottom and the side, and then you just place it instantly after breaking it, and it should never go back into that block. And you can also do that when you're standing in a door, so if you don't want to have to leave the portal, you can just place the block instead. But that's how to get the crafting table back, and I think that's it for the portal. I will say this is faster than other portals based on the time it takes to gather the materials, as well as the time it takes to mine the blocks in the portal. So that's basically what we were going for when we're trying to improve the time and cut it down. But yeah, I think that's it for the portal, and thanks for watching.